In ancient Polynesian myths, it was believed that the Polynesian king had several children of whom were born with magical abilities, and were seen as giants. Fearing their great power and their short tempers, the Polynesian king quickly sent his sons away to be banished and cast them onto Easter Island. It appears that this myth can be confirmed when analysing the large stone structures on the island. The majority of the large stone structures known as the Easter Island heads all seem to be facing inwards towards the island, to offer a sort of overwatching protection. However, there appears to be 7 large Easter Island heads that face in the direction of the Polynesian island, almost as if to reference to the origin of the 7 suns. It's interesting to note that though the Easter Island myths do not seem to reference the origin of the Polynesian islands, it talks on length about giants and the creation of the Easter Island heads by the giants. Given the megalithic structure of the heads, even in the modern day it's been impossible to replicate the statues on such a limited location. Though there have been many attempts to create similar statues and devise ways of transporting them, not a single theory to this day appears to be reliable or valid in its hypothesis. This could very well be that these 7 sons of whom were born as giants created these megalithic structures eons ago. It's assumed by many that Polynesian people were the first to reach the places such as Easter Island. An interesting discovery was made during the 1950s, which suggested that buried artifacts could prove that earlier civilizations lived on the island. They suggest this due to other ancient artwork being discovered from across the globe, and looking eerily similar to some of the designs that can be found on Easter Island. Another interesting discovery that was made during the 1970s was that of the eye sockets. When explorers arrived on the island, they had wondered if these statues ever possessed eyes. It turned out that a team of archaeologists examined one of the statues and noticed that the eye sockets most likely had eyes of coral, and these would have had black obsidian and red pupils to give them a bold effect. In later years, the researchers have been able to recreate what the statues would have looked like when the natives were on the island. Interestingly, researchers were able to come to this conclusion by finding white coral pieces in various sites on the island. Researchers who have dedicated a large amount of time to studying the creations have also come forward and said they don't know who carved these statues. Although these statues are very famous, researchers have said it's been tough to pinpoint which communities were responsible for the carvings. During the statue's creation, it was suggested there were different clans living on the island, and this has made it tough to pinpoint who was behind the creations. Another thing that's baffled researchers is how this ancient culture was able to move these giant structures across the island. Researchers have put forward various theories to help answer this mystery, but as of today none of them have successfully explained how the giant structures were moved so easily across the different terrain. The explanation that is backed by most researchers is that the locals used some type of rope contraption. However, as of today the movement of these giant structures remains a mystery. One ancient artifact that could explain the secrets of Easter Island is that of the mysterious Rongorongo. The Rongorongo script contains the Rapu Nui language, and has on it many mysterious glyphs appearing to be proto-writing or writing. There have been many different efforts to decipher these glyphs, but the meaning is yet to be explained. The Rongorongo script has baffled many researchers over the years, and since its discovery different theories have been put forward to try and explain it. Going back, Eugene Urode was sent to the island by the Roman Catholic Church in 1864. Even though he recorded seeing hundreds of these scripts, only around 24 that were either burned, weathered or damaged were found 4 years later. Currently there are no more Rongorongo scripts on Easter Island, as the remnants are now scattered all over the world in private collections and museums. The surviving Rongorongo scripts are etched in wood aside from a few cuts in stone. These are known as petroglyphs, and this style of writing is only found on Easter Island. Most of the wooden tablets are made from Pacific rosewood, while others are made from South African yellowwood. The glyphs are styled in the shape of humans, plants, animals and geometric shapes. They are carved on the wood tablets around 1 centimeter high along the length of the tablet. According to word of mouth passed on by generations, it's said that the wooden tablets in the etched glyphs were carved by scribes using obsidian flakes, or small shark teeth. A style of writing is used in the original Rongorongo text. This is when a reader reads a text on a tablet from the bottom left-hand corner to the right, then turns the tablet 180 degrees to continue reading the line from left to right, continuing the rotation from each line till the reader gets to the top. Even though the purpose or the meaning of the Rongorongo text are yet to be known, it's an essential piece of the puzzle to knowing the ancient way of life of the inhabitants of Easter Island. Interestingly, similar looking statues can be found in Indonesia. Described as being similar in size to that of the Easter Island heads, there appears to be a large number of stone statues in Indonesia that have left many people wondering their true purpose and the history surrounding them. Researchers have held conflicting theories as to the dating of these statues, with some claiming they're older than 5,000 years old, and others saying they're as young as 1,000 years old. Either way, the findings have been inconclusive as to the age range of who or what made the statues and what time. Some hold theories that the figures were that of ancient gods seen as protected beings, and that these ancient beings watched over the area. Others believe they could be far more ominous in nature and proof of advanced civilizations. Interestingly, there are more than 1,400 of these large megalithic stone statues that depict mysterious designs of large-headed people with helmets and large eyes. These statues seem to occupy the entire region of the Bada Valley, and appear to bear no inscriptions of any kind that have left people native to the region to completely ignore the statues, as they're not aware of their historical value. Oddly enough, the largest of the statues is described as being over 4 meters tall, which makes it roughly the height of a 2-story building. When the statues were originally discovered, many of the residents nearby were reminded of old legends of giants having once inhabited the region, and being cursed by magic and turned to stone, believing that these statues are the last stone remnants of an ancient giant species. To this day, nothing more has been discovered surrounding these statues, and they continue to be a mystery in the modern era. This isn't the only mysterious ancient artifacts that have been discovered. One that's confused many scientists and researchers over the years is that of the lost Dropa stones. Discovered in 1962 by a man named Chu Wemming, the Dropa stones were described as being a series of 716 circular stone discs that were dated as far back as 12,000 years ago, predating the first human civilizations. The stones were inscribed with tiny hieroglyph-like images, and they detailed a strange story of possible extraterrestrials. This story was supposedly translated to state that a strange species of beings had descended from a cloud in the sky. After realizing they were unable to ascend back up to the skies, they were then forced to begin to adapt and live on this planet. The story then detailed that, unaware of the nature of these strange beings and their intentions, the local Han Chinese began to hunt them down and eventually wipe them all out. According to the researcher Chu Wemming, the images seem similar to that of modern-day UFO sightings and flying saucers. Believing these stories to be evidence of the record of ancient extraterrestrial contact, in 1962 Chu Wemming published his findings to the archaeological community, only for it to be ridiculed and discredited, and caused Chu Wemming to go to Japan in a self-indulged exile of shame. Further information surrounding the stones were described in the Soviet magazine known as Sputnik, and it claimed that a handful of these stones were sent to a museum in Moscow. Supposedly, a doctor by the name of Vyacheslav Savev describes an experiment in which the discs were placed on a spectral turntable where they begin to vibrate or hum, and they did this in an unusual repeating rhythm, as if they possessed an electric current passing through them. Since these experiments and findings, the stones have gone missing, only for them to have never surfaced again. This could very well mean that not only were the stones legitimate in their details, and evidence of ancient extraterrestrial contact, but that efforts were made by the Chinese and Russian government to cover up these strange artifacts, and prevent them from ever being seen again. Many people in the ancient alien community speculate that perhaps these discs could have contained a massive amount of digital data, and could be the smoking gun evidence of ancient extraterrestrial contact. So my question to you guys is, what do you make of these mysterious ancient artifacts? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.